A while ago, my mom sent me a series of pictures from a different book.
Yeah, the book is called The Messie's Manual by Sandra Felton. And it was also one on learning how to get organized and stay organized. I found in the front of the book a series of 9 pictures which described sort of different types of messy people.
So the first one is the idealistic Messie. This person's head is in the clouds. Great thoughts and ideas are what interest this Messie, but the results are disastrous to an idealist. The beauty and charm, the satisfying family life all melt under the heat of a messy home.
Having so many great ideas of the way things ought to be, that not being firmly attached to what she needs to do to make it right.
Yeah. So she's so excited about all the high points and exciting points of having a home, and then the dirt gets piled up and the mess gets piled up, and
she's thinking bigger thoughts.
Yeah. That's not either of us. The second one is the safe Messie. This Messie leaves the bed unmade because it can air out better, and that kills germs. The floors are not waxed because that might get slippery and dangerous. The dishes are not dried by hand because the germs from the dishcloth might get on the dishes. I could see this taking a really long time.
Yes, because
to do anything.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to find the safest, most sanitary, most...
I actually remember a short period of time when I thought, yes, it is better to let them air dry. So they would sit on my counter till the next meal. And then I just take them out of there and put them back on the table. It wasn't a very good way to go.
No, I don't think this is typically me at all. The sentimental Messie, on the other hand, there's a little bit of that. For me, the sentimental Messie, every scrap brought home by Johnny is precious. Every shell picked up on a beautiful day is valuable. We must keep our memories.
All those pieces of driftwood I picked up on the beach. All those pretty stones.
I have a water bottle, like a store-bought mountain spring water bottle that has sand in it from a trip that Nathan and I took to the Little Sahara Desert in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it's on top of my fridge because I don't know what else to do with it.
Looks like a big bottle of cinnamon.
It kind of does.
That color, but
it kind of does.
She has a bottle of dirt on her fridge.
It's sand.
Sentimental.
It's sand.
It's where you were.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were there, and I was like, "This is really cool." It's a really fine sand.
It doesn't matter. It's still dirt.
It's true. The relaxed Messie. This person rationalizes that the world outside is hostile and home is a place to relax. Why work at home?
Yeah, I kind of fall into that category to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I know that someone's coming over, I don't tend to do stuff until I have to do it, and then I can actually do it pretty quickly. So when I actually use the Sidetracked Home Executives method of the box and the 3x5 cards, that actually was really good because I was never overwhelmed by any particular job. I just had to keep up with it. And I did keep up with it for quite some time, and then eventually, I think as you kids got older, I started to let it go. And now I'm kind of finding I really ought to get back onto it, I think, because I'm back into that, well, I don't need to do it. There's nobody coming over. But if there's someone coming over, then I get really stressed and work like a dog to get it clean. Mm-hmm. And it does look really nice. So I guess I just need to have people over more often.
It also doesn't help that you have a golden retriever living with you.
Who sheds all the time.
All the time. Well, Shan says she only sheds twice a year.
Yeah. From June to December and from January till June.
The clean Messie. As long as things are clean, such Messies reason that they can be left out. This is the reason clean clothes are left in the basket and not folded. I fall a little bit into this category as well. Quite often, you have seen already that occasionally I end up with, I clean something and then it gets dumped on the couch or it sits in a laundry basket somewhere and doesn't get folded or put away for a long time.
I was very guilty of that too. I always had a load of diapers that were in a pile on the floor waiting to be folded. Yeah, before Pampers. Yeah. And they were clean, but I just could never seem to keep up with getting them folded and back on the shelf. Mm-hmm.
The next one is the Spartan Messie. This is a special approach to the difficulties of housekeeping. The ancient Spartans lived with only the necessities of life. Similarly, it may occur to a Messie that if there were less to care for, or if it were somehow shut up or nailed down and not used, it would be possible to handle it. I'm not this Messie.
No.
I'm not this person at all.
Although I must say, I think I have probably thought about ditching everything in the house, getting rid of all the toys, getting rid of the kids. Just me and...
Good thing we all moved out. The rebellious Messie. This Messie has psychological hang-ups from childhood. Mom insisted on cleanliness and order, and now that she's grown, she's going to show independence by defiance. I just want to read this other little bit in here. I heard a middle-aged woman say that she had procrastinated for years about hanging a mirror, even though it was in her way on the floor. The reason she didn't hang it was because the sight of the unhung mirror annoyed her mother, and she derived pleasure from the annoyance that it caused.
That's just sad. That's just really sad. I think actually, and I have heard people say, the reason I am messy or the reason I am obsessive about, and it all goes back to Mom. And I'm thinking, my mother made me do such and such, and so I do it my own way kind of thing. And it's not working, but I'm doing it my own way. And I think, you're an adult now, right?
Yeah.
For people, it's like, you're an adult now. Figure it out, but don't blame your mother. Like, you're 55 years old, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah. You typically hear one of two stories. It is either, my mom always did this, and therefore I am doing the opposite. Mm-hmm. Or you hear, well, it's the way that Mom always did it.
Yeah. Good relationship or bad relationship.
Pretty much.
Pick which one is which.
So why am I a Messie? Because my mom was a Messie.
We have a good relationship.
Oh dear, the perfectionist Messie. This person has very high standards for individual jobs. The house may be a wreck, but she decides to begin by cleaning the oven. And it is well done. Very well done. And if you say, no one sees the inside of the oven, she takes pride in saying, but I know it's clean. In the meantime, the whole picture deteriorates.
So I do get this because...
Do you? Because I don't get this one.
Okay, it's like painting behind the fridge or tiling behind the stove or painting the underside of the table, all of which I'm guilty of.
Really?
I finished the undersides of the table. It's just the wood was still looking old, and I was compelled to finish the underside of the table in case some small child at some point would be lying on the floor with their head under the table and look up and see unfinished wood. It would be...
That actually just briefly reminded me when my sister and I were really little, crawling underneath the bunk beds with the black crayon and drawing. We were doing dot to dot. We'd make a whole bunch of dots and then connect all the dots. And I'm not sure how it is that you like came up and knew it was there, but we got in so much trouble for that.
I was probably painting them.
They were painted. But it was the underside of the bottom bunk.
I know.
No one's going to see the underside of the bottom bunk.
It's crazy.
The old-fashioned Messie. For some reason, there are people who just enjoy doing things the old-fashioned way. For them, the only way is the old way. This is a definite matter of principle, though it is hard to know what the reason is. I used to fall more into this category than I do now. It was like, if you're gonna clean it so that there is no possibility of there being any dirt left on it. So it's like, if you are going to clean the oven, you're going to clean the oven, you're going to pull it out, you're going to clean the sides, you're going to clean the back, you're going to you're going to clean not just the trays underneath the elements, you're going to clean the elements, you're going to lift up the top of the stove and clean under there, anything that might, and then you're going to clean the oven. And so it goes from like, pull out the oven, turn it on to clean, because we have self-cleaning ovens, to this huge major ordeal, which is fine for like every once in a while to do a really thorough cleaning on something, mm-hmm. but not at the expense of everything else. Mm-hmm. Or, well, it takes too long to do that job, so I'm just not going to do it now. I'll do it later. Later's always a good time. Oh, that's the last one. Oh, yeah, a little sentimental, a little relaxed.
Yeah.
A little bit clean. A little bit of a clean Messie. Not clean. That's why we're doing this. A little bit of perfectionist. And a little bit of old-fashioned.
I think
between the two of us.
Yeah, I think the thing that this showed us, and again, this book is called The Messie's Manual by Sandra Felton. I think what I appreciated about this was it sort of gave a little bit of idea, like behind what is our reasoning for doing the things the way we do them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have kind of faulty thinking. I think one of the things she said was that the cleanie, the person who's a cleanie, their reward is looking around and seeing things gleaming or shining or being in place, and that's the reward they get, that feeling of satisfaction. And so what is our, like, what is our reason for not doing stuff? Is because we're so relaxed that we don't need to do it until we have to. Mm-hmm. So our reward then is the having a relaxed kind of mm-hmm. atmosphere.
I would almost say that I fall into it's just I look at the big picture and say, well, I have this to do and this to do and this to do and this to do, and I get really discouraged really easily. Mm-hmm. So I look at the big picture and go, oh, it's too big. So then I sit down. This video has gone on long enough.
It is way too long. We're going to cut a lot.
I don't know how much I'm going to cut. Oh. I think I'm just going to make this a long video.
This is a 15-minute video. We got to cut some of it.
We'll see. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.